Hi there everybody, this is David, and I have COVID. Yay, me. Yeah. So I've been struggling with this, but don't worry, I went to the doctor yesterday. I got plenty of nice good stuff for it, so I have everything that I could possibly need in order to get through this. So yeah, not exactly feeling my best right now, and honestly, I wasn't going to do a video today. I had a top 10 list that I made a couple of weeks back. I was going to put that one up instead and not even do news because I was dying yesterday. But then I saw this and I thought, you know what? I have to talk about it. It's Dragon Quest. I just have to. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, cutting 3 scenarios, cutting some side quests, adding some optional stuff, and everything else that we know about it. And I definitely do think that's worth the sub as you come and join the party and you level on up with me. With your sub, your like, and your brand new hype, it helps me out a ton. Thank you so much for that. Also, before we do get started, the other day, well yesterday really, I started up a contest over on Twitter to give away 2 copies of Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, and then I made a community post letting y'all know about that, just so you know, hey, I'm giving this away over on Twitter. And then rather than being people like being happy about it, I saw a lot of complaining because, God forbid you do something nice on YouTube, everybody has to complain about something. So anyway, I'm also going to be giving away 2 more copies, so 4 copies total of Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered, and 2 more will be coming out in a YouTube video coming up in the future that I have already recorded whenever I was healthy, thank God. Anyway, so if you don't use Twitter, don't worry, you will have your chance as well. So let's see what we got going on here with this. This was in a live stream which happened just the other day during Tokyo Game Show, and I do want to show y'all the relevant, pertinent points right here and go through it with y'all, because there is a lot to unpack with this. So let's just go ahead and get started right here. This, of course, all is in Japanese. It says, ever since the announcement was made, we've been getting a lot of different reactions and questions from users, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to hear more about those aspects as well. So I'm going to be answering some questions here, thankfully. Oh, there's Yuji Horii. He's so great. Well, from the trailer until now, we've been seeing posts on social media from users asking about things that we're curious about. Although these are only a few of them, I thought that I'd answer as many as I can today. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at the slides. First of all, to answer your question, what is adjustments like? Yeah, the story adjustments, well, I think that this is probably the part that people are most concerned about. And there have been a lot of comments about the trailer and how the stone slab base is missing, so I thought that I would explain that. Yeah, a lot of slabs are missing, which was unfortunate, I've got to say. Well, this time we've made adjustments to the overall scenario selection, but as part of the adjustments, we've eliminated 3 scenarios: Krage, Probina, and Litterud. Okay, we're going to get into that in just a moment as well. I've consulted with Yuji Horii about this, and we decided to cut out parts that seemed a little less relevant to the main storyline in order to speed up the overall tempo and to create a more intense story experience. The closed captioning was slow, so I had to put in my own little closed captioning here. That's why it's yellow in the closed captioning on the bottom as well. The 4 black stone tablets at the back of the slide we've adjusted for the existing scenarios into a mission story format, so that once you unlock the stone tablets, you can play through the story at any time that you like. So those are kind of, well, I don't know, not optional, but they're there, additional story elements. In addition to these elements, we've also added scenarios I can't give any details about, but yet. There are new scenarios in this area, so I hope that you'll enjoy them. To give you an example, it includes scenes from the childhood of the protagonist and Maribel. That's cool. Get some more backstory on them. I like that. I don't want to go into too many details, but I would like to reiterate that in terms of overall adjustments, I would like to talk about the experience of playing the game. We've adjusted the overall story so that you can immerse yourself in the main story, so we hope that you will enjoy the slightly different Dragon Quest experience. Where we're not reducing the number of items, we are adding new ones, so please come and play and check them out. So new items are being added as well. How fascinating. Let's go back to that article. So this reiterates a lot of the stuff that we just saw there in that interview. 3 scenarios that were cut, and we'll get into that in just a moment. It says that it was Courage's, which is Krage, Little Ludo, which is Litterud, and Provina. which is Probina. Okay, so all of those were removed. Crage. That's the one with the Yggdrasil tree, and everybody says, I'm the Demon Lord, no, I'm the Demon Lord, no, I'm the Demon Lord. And then we find out that they like poisoned the well or something, and then you had to go in and help out the fairies and the Yggdrasil tree and all that kind of stuff. So that's what that one's about. And there's also some metal slime grinding there as well. At least you can do that in the present day, so I guess that they're getting rid of that grind, or maybe they're just moving it somewhere else. Then there's Little Ludo, which is Little Rud, and that is the one where there's this like strange architecture, and it's like there's this clock tower, and then the time stops, and you see this girl constantly falling down the frickin' stairs, constantly. And you also get the sands of time there. And then in the present day, they have that style contest, and they've gotten rid of the style contest, unfortunately. The style stat was only in Dragon Quest 6 and 7, so it does seem kind of odd that they've gotten rid of that, but it is what it is. Then there is Probina. Sorry for the little cut there, I had to have a little coughing attack, so I'm not feeling all that great. That's the one with the priest and like the broken goddess statue and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, kind of interesting that those three were cut when there's other ones that were probably less important to the story, and those stayed in. So yeah, kind of interesting right there. And there are also more late game scenarios too. I'm wondering if they're going to move scenarios around so that you get to All Trades Abbey or Dharma Temple earlier. That's really my big thing, having to spend 25 to 30 hours just to get the job classes. Like, that's my big thing. I hate that. I want to get to the job classes within the first 5 hours, not the first 25 hours. According to Yuji Horii, the decision was made to cut out parts that were not closely related to the main story in order to speed up the overall tempo and provide a more intense story experience. Also, once you unlock the black stone tablets at the back of the slab room, it becomes an optional story that you can challenge at any time that you like. He also mentioned that the additional scenario will depict the childhood of protagonist in Maribel. Regarding the Detour elements, the casinos, these are the side quests, the casino, the immigrant town, the monster park, and the World Wrecking Association, that's the style contest, have all been cut, but they've added a new element, the arena. Okay, so here's my deal. I think that they cut the casino in order to deal with Sero ratings. That's the Japanese rating board that is super freaking strict. That's the reason why we have Type A and Type B, because of the Japanese rating board. It's ridiculous, I know. But they are keeping in Lucky Panel, but they're getting rid of, like, I don't know, the poker and the blackjack and things like that. I say just raise the rating. Give me a break. Then there's the immigrant town, and that to me seems very integral to the story insofar as you have these kind of abandoned towns that you are reviving, and then, you know, you have a place to bring the immigrants to. I always love doing the immigrant town, getting like the priest town or the sailor town or things like that. I thought that that was fun. The monster park I paid no attention to, so I really don't care about that. And then they added in a new arena. So it says here, the casino minigame Lucky Panel can now be enjoyed in a different way, both in the original and in the 3DS versions. The arena has been added where you can win luxurious prizes if you advance. Formidable enemies will appear, and it's said to be endgame content where you can fight against past demon kings. So like Zoma and Hargon and the Dragon Lord and things like that, and Estark will appear. They go on to talk about the battles with easy, normal, and difficulty levels, and then symbol encounters. It says it's possible to adjust the enemy's toughness in several stages. I think that what they're talking about here is at the battling, you can go ahead and attack them outside of battle, and if you are stronger than them, you can kill them immediately, like an Earthbound combat system, which is so frickin' cool, I can't even stand it. One last thing that I did want to talk about, though, was what's the point of the modern Dialac without an immigrant city, or a modern Lumen without a monster park? What's the point of those scenarios? If they're going to cut the side quest associated with those towns, why didn't you just cut those towns? You know what I'm saying? Because you go there and Dialac is nothing. It's just an empty field with like this stone in front of it or whatever, and then you bring in the immigrants. But now there's no immigrant town? What's the point? And Lumen is just like a field. and then you bring in the monsters. You know what I mean? So again, what's the point of having those scenarios without their associated side quests, unless they're bringing in different side quests or newer side quests? It just seems kind of odd to me to cut those that had substantial story and had story in the present and the past, and then leave those other ones in that don't really have much of a story in the present. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I gotta go. I can barely speak. So let me know in the comments what y'all think about all this. Let me know down below, and have a good day.